Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at two different ways to write linear equations. We're going to be looking at slope-intercept form, and we're also going to be looking at standard form. So slope-intercept form, of course, has, like I said, the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so m is going to be the slope of the line, and again, slope, m, is rise over run. So again, how far up or down you have to go, and then how far to the right you have to go. And if you're looking for a line in slope-intercept form, it's going to be y equals m, so the slope, times x, and then plus whatever the y-intercept is, b. Okay? Oops, okay. So let's look at these. Given the graph, we're going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So for slope-intercept form, we need the slope, and we need the intercept. So first, let's look for the slope. I'm going to start out by determining whether it's going to be positive or negative. You can see that this one's clearly a hill going upward from left to right, so it's going to be positive. So rise is how far up it goes. You go 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to there. Over run is 1, 2, and 4 over 2 is just 2. So m, the slope, is 2. And then b, in order to find the y-intercept, you're going to count how far up or down from 0, the origin in the center here, you have to go to get to the point on the y-axis. So we go 1, 2, 3, and it's down. You go down 3, so it's going to be negative 3. So we're going to do y equals, it's m, so we take our m, we replace it with 2, because we know that m is 2, x, and then it's plus, and then it's b is negative 3. So you could either write it that way, or if you wanted, since it is negative, plus negative 3 is the same as minus 3. So that's all you're going to do. You're going to figure out what the slope is, you're going to figure out what the y-intercept is, and then you're going to replace the m and the b in the equation with those numbers. So if we look at number 2, again, we need the slope, and we need the y-intercept. So first we're going to see whether the slope is going to be positive or negative. You can see if you're going from left to right that way that it is actually going downward. It's a downward hill, so the slope is going to be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that negative sign here. Okay, now we need to have the rise. So how far up or down you have to go to get to the next point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4, and then the run is how far over you have to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to the other point. So the slope is negative 4 over 5. The y-intercept, you have to count how far up or down from the origin you have to go to get to the point that is on the y-intercept. You can see we're counting down, so it's going to be negative, and you just go down 2. Okay? And again, so it's y equals whatever m is, so negative 4 over 5. Write an x, and then again it's plus negative 2, so plus this b value, and then that's just going to be the same as minus 2. So the equation for this line is y equals negative 4 over 5x minus 2. Now again, we need the slope and the y-intercept. Slope here, going from left to right, is going downward, so it's going to be negative. Okay, rise, looks like we only have to go down 1 to get to that. And then from left to right, you have to go 1, 2, 3. So the slope is negative 1/3. And the y-intercept, you don't have to go up or down any, it's on the origin, so it's going to be 0. So y equals m, negative 1/3, x, and then it's plus b, so you can add this plus 0 on the end if you want, but we know that we don't have to add a plus 0 because it's the same thing, so it's just going to be y equals negative 1/3 x. Okay? So let's graph these lines. Okay? So our first step is we're going to plot the y-intercept. Then we're going to use the slope, this m, to plot another point. Okay? Remember that if it is negative, you go down, then right. And if it's positive, you go up, then right. Okay? And then after that, you just have to connect the points. So let's go ahead and look. Y equals m, so the slope is this one, x plus b, okay? So the slope here, this m, is 5 over 4, and b, we have to keep the negative sign here, is -1. If it were plus 1 on the end here, like that, it would be just +1, but since it's negative, we have to keep the negative sign. Okay, so again, first we're going to plot b, so we're going to go from the origin, we're going to go down 1, because it's negative, we're going to go down that many, and then there, we're going to use m to plot another point. So again, if m is negative, it's positive. So we're going to go up first, and then we're going to go right. So we're going to go up whatever's on the top. So up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where the point's going to be. So you go up however many is on top, or down if it's negative, and then you go right however many is on the bottom. Okay, and then now that we've got those, you just have to connect the line. It doesn't have to be perfect, that's fine. So again, we are going to say this -1 is m, this is b. So m, since the coefficient on x is just negative, it would be -1 times x. And then b is just this +6, so it's going to be 6. So we're going to start by plotting b. So you count up 6 since it's positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And then if it doesn't have fraction, then the bottom is 1. So we are going to go, since it's negative, we're going to go down 1, and then to the right 1. Okay? And then again, connect them. And then this last one, we have 2x, and then we don't have anything, so it's the same as +0. So the slope here is 2, and then the intercept is at 0. So we plot that right at the origin. And then since it doesn't have a fraction, we're just going to put it over 1. So it's positive, so we're going to go up 2 and to the right 1. So up 2 and to the right 1. And then from there, you just have to connect the lines. Okay? So now we're going to be looking at standard form. So standard form is ax plus by equals c. So it's just some number times x plus some number times y is equal to some other constant number, just some number. Because standard form doesn't actually give you m, there's no m in this equation, the slope, then you have to be able to convert them or solve them into slope-intercept form. So remember, slope-intercept form, you're going to solve so that it has y equals something times x, and then it's going to be plus some other number. Okay? So the first step, you're going to move x away from y. So you're going to take the x term and move it away from y to the other side. And then you're going to divide by the coefficient, so that's the number being multiplied. That's a c, sorry, coefficient on y, so the number being multiplied by y. So first, let's move x away from y. So they're on the same side. So we're going to subtract x to the other side. We're going to subtract it from both sides. That's going to cancel out, giving us y equals, and again, we want something times x first. So we'll do negative x, and then plus whatever number we've got. So plus 6. Now we have to divide by the coefficient on y. It's only 1 times y, so we don't have to do anything. We have y equals, this is what we have to have. Y equals something times x plus a number, or minus a number. It's the same thing. So for the second one, move x away from y, so we'll subtract 5x to the other side. Okay, so that's going to cancel out, leaving us 2y on this side. We'll do the x first, because we need something times x plus something else, or minus something else, so it's minus 2. And now we need to divide by the coefficient on y, so the thing being multiplied by y. So we're going to divide everything here by 2, giving us y equals negative 5 over 2 x minus 1. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. Y equals something times x plus or minus some other number. So again, we'll get the 2x to the other side. Those will cancel out. So we have negative 4y equals, we'll put the x first. Okay. Now we're going to divide everything by this coefficient on y. So we're going to divide everything by this -4. Remember the negative sign, because we don't want to know what negative y is. We want to know what y is equal to. So those are going to cancel out, giving us -2 divided by 4 is going to be 1/2, a positive because they're both negatives. Okay, these are both negative, and 28 divided by 4 is 7. So again, we're just going to move x away from y, so subtract it to the other side. The x term, we're going to divide by the coefficient on y. That's going to give us y equals something times x plus or minus something else, which is going to give us into slope-intercept form. Okay, so again, we'll try it over here some. So we'll get rid of the x term first, okay? So we'll subtract 3x from both sides. That's going to cancel out. We have negative y equals, again, we'll do the x term first. And you can see here that, you can see that we are going to now divide by -1, because -1 times y is what we've got here. Oh, sorry, I see that I did a little division sign twice. Okay, I keep pushing that button, sorry. So we're dividing by -1. Okay, so it's going to just change the sign on everything. So instead of -3x, it's going to be positive 3x. Instead of +5, it's going to be -5. Okay, so again, we are going, I want you to go ahead and try this one. Pause the video, okay? Try this one on your own. Okay, see what you get. Try y equals something times x plus or minus something else. Okay, so you need to fill in these two blanks. Try that. And then I'm going to go over it in just a second, and you'll see whether you get it right or not. Let me know. Okay, so we're going to start out by subtracting 6x to the other side because we want y on its own. That's going to cancel out, giving us 8y equals, and we're going to keep the x first. Okay, now we're going to divide everything by 8 because it's the coefficient on y. Okay, so that's going to give us y is equal to -6/8 is going to change to -3/4x. Okay, if you had -6/8, that's fine. And then -16 divided by 8 is just going to be -2. Okay, so if you had this here, you'd have a -3/4 and then -2. Okay, now I want you to try 12 on your own, except I'm not going to show you what the answer is. Okay, just realize that y equals something times x plus or minus something else, and sometimes you could have +0 and not have anything over here, and that's what it's going to be in this case. So in this case, you're just going to have y equals something times x. Okay, now we're going to go the other way around, and we're going to graph the line. So first we're going to have to solve for y equals, so put in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we need the slope and the intercept to graph it, and then we're going to just graph it like we did before. Okay, so we are going to first get the x on the other side, minus x, giving us -2y equals -x plus 8. Okay, and we divide this by everything by this -2. Giving us y is equal to 1/2 x minus 4. Okay, so the slope is going to be this 1/2, and then the y-intercept is this -4. Okay, so we'll start out by plotting b, so you go down 4 because it's -1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our first point. Then we're going to use the slope, so it's positive, so we're going to go up however many on top, and then right however many on bottom. So up 1 and right 2 gives us this, and then we're just going to, oops, that was not a good connection, sorry, like that. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. So I want you first off to go ahead and pause the video and try and solve for y equals. Take your time, try and get this into slope-intercept form and see what you get from there, and then I will be back once you're done. Go ahead and press play once you're done. All right, so first we're going to get the 3x to the other side, giving us 5y equals negative 3x plus 5. Again, I do the x first so that we have it in the right form. Now we're going to divide by 5. Okay, everything in the equation, left and right, y equals negative 3 over 5x plus 1. Okay, so now we have it in slope-intercept form. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this slope here is this negative 3 over 5, and then the y-intercept is this plus 1, so it's positive 1. I want you guys now to pause and go ahead and try this. Okay, try graphing it. Graph this point, and then use the slope. Go, again, it's negative, so you go down 3, and then to the right 5. And I'm not going to show you how to do it, how it's going to look, but it's going to be negative slope, so it's going to be something kind of like that. I don't know where it's going to meet or anything, but it's going to make sure it's go downward. Okay, so use this and go ahead and graph that point. All right, now we're going to be looking at vertical lines and horizontal lines. So vertical lines are up and down, okay, and then horizontal lines are from left to right, just perfectly even with the ground, okay? So a vertical line, if you have a vertical line, the equation for it is going to be written in the form x equals a. So we're going to have x equals some number, and then that number is going to be the x-intercept. So wherever it actually hits the x-intercept. So the equation for this one, we can see that it's in right here. It's not hitting the y-intercept anywhere, so we need these x-intercept. It's right here. It hits the x-axis here. Okay, that's at negative 1. So we have x equals, and the x-intercept is negative 1. Okay, if you have an up and down and vertical line, the slope is always going to be undefined. Because if you try and think of the slope, let's put another point here, then you would have m equals, so it's rise over run, so you go up 3, and you don't go over any, so it'd be 3 divided by 0. You cannot divide by 0. If you divide by 0, your answer is just going to be undefined. Now, looking at the horizontal lines, we're going to have that each horizontal line, so left to right, is going to be in the form of y equals a, so y equals some number, where a is where the line actually hits the y-axis, the y-intercept. So for this one, again, we're going to go up 3, so that y-intercept is going to be 3, so we're just going to have y equals 3. Okay? And then the slope for these ones, let's go ahead and draw another point. If we do this, so it's going to be rise over run. To get to that point, you don't go up or down any, so it's going to be 0 divided by however many of you go over, 3. 0 divided by anything is going to be 0. So the slope for all of these, anytime you have a horizontal line straight from left to right, the slope is going to be 0. So now let's go ahead and graph the line. So if it is x equals, it's vertical. And if it is y equals some number, then it's horizontal. Okay? So this one is y equals. Y is horizontal. We have positive 4. Horizontal is from left to right. Vertical is up and down. So y equals 4. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where it's going to be, and it's going to go straight from left to right. Okay? Now I'm going to show you this one. X equals negative 2. So we're looking at x equals, so it's going to be vertical. So it's going to go up and down. So we're going to count left 2 because it's negative. So it hits at x-axis at negative 2. And then it's just straight up and down. Now I want you to go ahead and stop what you're doing and go ahead and try number 17 on your own. Okay, y equals means it is, going to be horizontal, so it's going to be from left to right. Okay, go ahead and use that point to graph your point and then see from there what your line's going to look like. Let me know if you guys have any questions about any of these. All right, make sure you copy down everything and make sure you upload your notes to Google Classroom once you're done. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you later.